All right, so Troy, welcome to Social Distancing Designer Interview. Sorry, mahaba yung name, but it was because it's a fun. So, Troy, I'm
Yeah,
very happy to have you here for our show. So, how are you?
I'm doing good. Tired. It's been busy. Still, even during quarantine. I think I'm also trying to keep myself busy as well. Because of course, you're pretty much just all stuck at home, working. So for me, as much as I can during quarantine, I try to learn something new, or try to work on some backlogs for my businesses or company, like that. And yeah, it's been a very, I mean, thankfully, I think it's been a very productive 2 months. Not 2 months na tayo, no? Yeah, it's been a very productive two
Yeah,
months.
it's been a long time now.
It's been a very long time. I don't know anymore what McDonald's tastes like.
I know. I mean,
uh,
I'm so we've been into this quarantine for too long, pero I don't think na. But I think for some of us, sanay naman na. But with this, so Troy, although I know you personally, I would like the viewers for them to know who you are, like introduce briefly who you are. Then I'm gonna ask you some questions.
do you want the short one or the long one? No, I'm joking.
Oh, yeah.
So my name is Troy Sitosta, and I'm an art director that I specialize in brand design, and right now, I'm working on digital designs as well. I run two companies. I run a branding studio, and I run a digital agency as well. And I started pretty late as a designer. What I mean by that is when it comes to design, or branding design, I came in at around near when I was 27 already. So I know most people started really young. I actually came from when I started my career though, in advertising. So I was working in a huge ad agency when I was about 19 years old. I was also a working student at that time, and that's how I started my career. Okay, I started advertising, and mm, I did that for almost 10 years before I realized that I wanted to do my own thing. So I kind of got the skills, the foundations as an art director. So I did multiple campaigns and everything. So what I thought about was, I had when I started actually, I had some savings. So I told myself, you know what, I'm not gonna go for a sabbatical. For let's say I know I for three at least 3 months. Actually, sorry. Before that, I also worked in different tech companies. After advertising, I thought to myself, you know what, digital and tech is going to be the future. So I need to kind of get on board on it while it's still in its infancy. So I worked in a couple of you know uh, contractual positions, to train and lead people in some tech companies. And after that, I thought to myself, I need a break. I feel like I've been, making um, big, larger businesses money. So what do I want to do for myself? What's next for me? As a creative. So I was young. I had some savings, of course, and I told myself, you know what? Let me see. 3 months. What can I come up with? Right. Um, and actually, I started trying to practice, when it comes to, I thought to myself, okay, you know what? I've always wanted to, I thought about projects that I've always wanted to do for such a long time that I never got to do while I was in corporate. So I wanted to do a packaging project. I wanted to do a uh, uh, some branding projects for whatever I could think of. So like a lot of how I started as a designer, or my real awakening or real start as a designer, was me creating works that I've always wanted to do. But then ironically, I mean, it's still branding. Like, I thought to myself that if this was a real business, what would it look like, and how would I design it? So from there, uh, 3 months became into 6 months because for some reason when I started posting my work, people liked it. I was getting a lot of views I started in Behance. I was getting a lot of views. I was getting projects left and right to work with them, and my savings never even depleted because I was just getting work. Like it was my first days as a freelancer, and I was also figuring it out as well as I went. I never even thought that I was gonna be a freelancer doing this, um, you know, doing my own thing for years now. For 4 years, I've been doing my own thing for 4 years now, and I never went back to corporate anywhere after that. So it was a very pleasant surprise, I guess. Maybe I don't know. This was what I was supposed to really do, and I start. Okay, so I first started with my own branding studio, which is called SHAO.
First saw you with SHAO. So
Yes.
parang of course for someone who's a fan of design. So I also design, but at the same time I'm a fan of people creating so much design, which is parang yung quality. Tapos parang when I saw your work, sabi ko sino to? Kasi parang sabi ko new player. I'm always excited when there's a new player in the field. So when I saw your work, sabi ko, oh yeah. So pero I've never seen some of the brands that you made before. But the work is so nice. So that's when you started, right?
That's how I started. I thought to myself like, okay, what kind of designer would I be? But I mean, like when we're fresh out of corporate, I was thinking to myself, I need to find my own voice as a designer because I'm very good at translating my clients' voices into visuals. But then like I never knew what kind of voice I would actually really have, and that kind of started the journey for me. Um, so I guess if I was gonna kind of describe my work, I actually looked at other people, what other studios are doing. So at that time, this was I think 4 or 5 years ago. At that time, they were all maximalist type of designers. Just cram everything in there. And I was like, it's so for me it was like it's great work, really great work, but I was like I'm more of a type of person that likes constraints and likes to I guess maybe it was my training as an art director where a rule as an art director is uh, take out as much as you can. So yes, in advertising especially the training there is always stick to the core message and take out all the other fluff just to get that message across. And I guess that kind of contributed to a bit of my cleaner, modern, minimal style when I do branding. So I guess pumatak naman.
Sure na
I
pumatak
mean,
yung brand studio mo. And with that said, I'd like to focus more on your work in your other agency because I think that graphic design is a gate. It's the gate for
right.
doing things. But I've never interviewed someone who actually is doing digital agency. So my question is, with the success of your design agency, so why start a digital agency, and how can what is it all about?
Well, that's actually a very that's another long story too. The reason why I started the digital agency is I think I hit a what do you call this a certain uh, barrier when it comes to running your own brand studio. That barrier is you want to grow, right? You only have two choices if you're a focused brand studio. Either you are gonna be content with being a small studio, right? But there's not much room for growth. However, there's a lot of room to experiment. Like this is really a like you're gonna create a space where you're gonna create unique works that um, of high quality. But when it comes to running a business, it doesn't make sense. you know, it doesn't make sense. There's not for me in my experience there wasn't really much room for further growing. Let's say your own income as a designer, or having your own team's income rise up because of the you wanna take care of your own employees as well, right? So then I thought to myself, okay, what are the other studios are doing? Others are doing they do their own retail. Others are taking on, below the line clients, that you will never hear about, right? Or they would do training. That's where they get their other part of the income. And I think I think in every studio, there's, how their business model is depends on the personality of their creative directors, right? So, for example, my good friend AJ, his whole business model is um, all about trying to network with a lot of different designers and using, by himself, managing people online. It really works really well for him. Others, someone, of course, they make their own products to sell, so they design their own products to be able to sell to create a much more bigger team, right? So in a way, it has become not just a design studio, but also a retail design pod itself. On my end, I thought to myself, okay, what else can I do? I mean, or what else am I interested to do that I know can bring in revenue every single month, right? And there's that safety net as well, because when you do just one-off brand design or one-off any kind of design project, the problem here is that the you only get paid when you finish it. So the faster you do it, the faster you get paid. However, it doesn't usually work that way because, of course, you're gonna have problems with the client. You have to do a lot of revisions, right? In the business standpoint, it's a it's a it's a running a studio. You are pretty much based upon what new clients you get, what kind of new large projects you're gonna get into, and that's about it, right? But when you get paid, tapos na, you know. And I guess know, in my experience, like it was hard to run, a business that way where you're not sure when is the next client is gonna come in, right? I mean, for me, I mean, it was I couldn't even, let's say, pay myself like, a lot as well doing that, simply because that I need to make sure that I have an emergency fund as a business. So if anything happens, then okay, there you go. So, there's really a ceiling when it comes to just running your own design studio. Then I thought to myself, okay, I don't. I looked into the future, and when I asked myself the question, what's next? I look myself into the future, and if others are, let's say, doing, um, you know, below the line stuff or pushing products, I myself thought, you know what? I'm actually good when it comes to computers. I'm good when it comes to computers, and I can easily figure out anything that comes in online. And I looked into, why don't I make my own, digital agency? I mean, that is the future. I think that's where the longevity is gonna come in. I think that is the next thing that I should do with my skills. So I thought to myself, how can I use my way of creativity? I think I was humble that time. I was humble enough to know that I need help. I need partners because like it's not my forte. My forte is definitely gonna be in the creative, and I can adapt my own creativity into any format that needs to be. I think that's where that's the mark of a seasoned designer. If a designer can actually figure out how can they design from one thing to another right away. And then I was working on this one dental brand. Actually, it's Metro Dental, where I met my future partners there. By fate, we were working on the same project at the same time, and we enjoyed working with each other. And the interesting thing was, we're three partners, and we each have a different specialty that we bring into, we brought into the project. Me, I was working on its branding. Um, my other partner is a digital director. He was working with the digital analytics, campaigns, and data for the client. And the other one was more of a uh, let's say project manager type of guy, where he is the one who's trying to develop the whole structure of their booking system. So yes, each one of us had our own teams in a way, And we got drinking one time, and we thought of, hey, you know what? Uh, we like how each other work, and for some reason we just vibe how we all each professionally work together. And we started talking about like, what if we, what are your plans for your own agency? And we realized that we each needed what they were offering, each one of us. So, the digital director was looking for a creative like me, and a PM dev guy like my other partner, and so on and so forth. So we were like, why don't we just combine together, work together, combine together, and that's how it pretty much started 3 years ago. And
Wow.
yeah, it was. I guess you could say it was lucky. Like when you think of something that you want to do, I guess the universe or God just pretty much like brings people to
Yeah,
close
three
to you.
years ago. 3 years already. Oh
3 years,
man,
yes.
that's why. When did I ask you to become a speaker for my event? 2018. 2018.
Yes,
So, meron ng digital agency back then.
I was already
Oh,
working on the
man.
digital. I was quiet
Tinanong pa
about
kita.
it because oh, so for I think for a lot of people they always just thought that I was just working on a design studio, but only a few people really knew that I actually built myself a digital agency as well. So we're now 14 people strong. And thank God during this COVID, we're still all together. We're all working online, and we have all adapted very well. Sanay na rin kami because we all work from home. And I mean, even before COVID, we already put a system wherein we only come to the office twice a week, and we work from home for the rest of the week. So because for us, it's like it's cost effective for everyone as well. It's a great benefit. It actually can be a great benefit to be able to allow people to work from home. You know, when we just fixed little bit of process. We're in like at this time, if we're gonna have a meeting, we should talk. But we allow, but me and my partners we allow our employees accountability. Like you're given this task, so you better make sure that you get to accomplish it, right? And we don't care like what you do first. Like you want to go on a date first, go lang, right? And then we come back, you better make sure that you finish what you're doing because you know, yeah. So it's a lot of trust.
I think the term there is accountability, right? Because
Yes.
uh, accountability builds trust in the team. And I'm so glad to hear that kind of structure. And I think you're still thriving in this COVID season, if not mistaken, More work ba?
I mean, well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, we are very sad that a lot of our clients were very affected. I mean, clients that we've took care of for years, suddenly their business is really not doing really well. You know, but as much as we can, what we try to do is we help them try to figure out other revenue channels. Like for example, clients that we have advised before to already go, online or e-commerce are now taking our advice now. So that's kind of like the joke. Yeah, we wish you guys listened to us before already, but then no, now we're, I guess, this quarantine kind of, even for me, kind of showed the vulnerabilities of a lot of businesses. I mean, for me, I've never been comfortable myself as a person. Like even up until now, even though my business is still okay, we're still all working hard. I'm tired too. um, you can't be lax yet about it because we just never know what could happen, and we do feel for our clients. So what we try to do is we help, finally, at least during this quarantine, transform their businesses, hold them hand to hand, wherein like how the logistics works, or how where we can put your product so that it at least can still be moving until shipments. I think the first thing that's going to happen when GCQ happens is the logistics line is going to get much better. So everybody's going to be the e-commerce is going to be a boom. Um,
And I think with what you just said, I think that's the role of a digital agency actually is to be a partner, not just because some people think it as a supplier, but I can see it more of a partner. And what you just did with your clients is being a partner, being responsible enough to not just think of your own your own business model, but also think of their business model and helping them um, adapt in this season?
I think that's rootedly where me myself as a designer am at. Where for me, visuals is visuals. That's true. Trends is trends. Yeah, sure. But design is all about trying to solve something. I think for me, my guiding light as a designer has always been, um, how can I help this client with what I can offer them? You know, if even if it's a, let's say, a branding project, of course I'll give my best. Like, I'll make we I think one thing that digital works well with the way that I design is I actually looked into, I research first. I really research on data points, or what are the actual buyer behaviors, or what really attracts people to be able to buy something. So my design process is rootedly data centric. So it really works when it comes to digital as well. So I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time right now, I guess. So when it comes to our clients, of course, I mean, as a designer myself, I think the first thing you really need to think about is, okay, and it's not, design doesn't, it's not just all about visuals. I think design is all about, um, okay, with our clients, we're in, we have this problem right now. Here are the things that we can do to solve that problem. So rootedly, that's how I think design should be, and it's not just
Right.
rootedly, let's say, how pretty something is.
Yeah, it's not just aesthetics, but it's more of a problem solving. But Troy, so because I know that you're a very busy person, you have two businesses, and it's hard. Buti nga nakuha ko pa yung schedule mo for this one. So this is my last question for you. Since you've
Go.
been doing so many campaigns, imagine 3 years already. So I want to ask you some three indicators, or indicators of what a successful campaign is, so that people could understand. Okay, so if you can compress two, three.
Well, for one thing, um, conversion rate, of course. When we say about conversion rate, is how when we launch a campaign, like every month there has to be, like, a set number of content campaigns that needs to happen. We look into. I think this is where a partnership really comes in. We're in, like, every month we always ask our clients, uh, how did we do last month, right? Did it convert anything to your sales? Did it spike up anything? So that we know how to adapt our um, the needs for the next set of content from there. I think when it comes to digital, it's actually very different from a very different kind of design, because you have, number one, you have to first accept that the life cycle of your work designing in digital is very, very short. So you cannot just, like, I know a lot of designers, like even me sometimes, I would fall in love with a certain work that that I would, we would be doing, pero it's just there for a reason for now. It's, time is limited. So conversion rate is one. Like, we definitely look into first how it's affecting the bottom line of our clients, right? Um, Two is, if the client's objective is also, brand awareness, right? We look into how many people are engaging with them, or how many people are we actually reaching, right? The main thing. But one thing that I would say is, uh, when it comes to digital, adapting fast is very, very important, because the digital landscape really changes constantly. I think that's one thing that I felt would happen, and I was right. So that's why I needed help to always be on the nose of, like, how things are changing online. Like, for example, did you know your Google Ads, or would always be constantly changing the way that they structure um, the ad spend and something like that. But yeah, uh, I think, uh, for a successful campaign, we always have to ask first, what is the client's objective? I think it also starts with that, because a lot of clients, they're already making money, but then they want their brand to be a bit more known. So I think that's the great thing when it comes to designing for digital, that you can fine tune and tweak, um, to be very specific to the needs of what that of needs of the client. So the client wants to be product-centric type of work. So it really depends. And from there, that's when we look into, okay, how many people are actually engaging, or is it affecting the client's bottom line, you know? So that's where the data comes in.
Wow. As in, I can really depend on you for technical stuff. That's why I would. I mean, that was the thing that you shared last time from our talk, and even when our small chats, I can really depend on your expertise when it comes to this. That's why when I ask you about digital agency and even for key indicators, you really explained it very well, and I hope people would learn from this video that we just did. So with that said, I'll be placing your links uh, in the description of this video, and at the same time, I'm going to share more resources about your digital agency. Sabi mo nga, I did not even know. Diba? So I did not even know. So you've made it for 3 years. Now we're going to, at least from ISO, we're going to show what you've been doing for quite some time. So there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
We're
the
still
interview.
fixing our website, by the way. We're still fixing our website, by the way. So
I check. Maganda naman.
Hindi pa. It's not yet there.
But
I'm still fixing it pa.
Grabe. Pero I mean, I guess that's the thing, excellence comes with a price. Excellence comes with a price. So kahit maganda pa to, we can still do something about it. All right.
I think I forgot to mention one thing, if I may say, one last thing. I think I forgot to mention one thing wherein the reason, another big reason why I made a digital agency is so that I could also keep doing what I love, which is the traditional way of designing and branding. When it comes to digital, I have a passion for it, for how it affects in real time our clients' businesses, right? Because design is always all about helping. But for me, it became my next level step because it was kind of like hitting two birds with one stone, wherein I can take as much time as I can to craft a great brand for any client without worrying about next month. So it was that kind of move so that I could keep doing what I really love to do.
Right, that was very intense of an explanation. Galing. So I'm very personally, I'm very honored that I have you here as my guest right now. So there, one thing, siguro my last message would be, see you after the quarantine. How about that?
Definitely.
We've always talked about seeing each other, yet it never happens. I still owe you an SAW.DESIGN shirt, by the way. So sorry.
Oh yeah, you do. You actually do.
I have it in my tab. Sorry, but I have it in my tab.
I think even me, I'm such an introvert myself, where I like to stay home. Even I miss people now.
I know.
When I want to get.
I know. So there. See you after the quarantine. So thank you for this interview, Troy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dust. It's really an honor.
All right. Hey, thanks for tuning here at SAW.DESIGN PH, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of ISO Social Distancing Design. Our goal is telling Philippine graphic design stories. If you'd like more content like this, how about clicking the subscribe button here? I think it's here, so you get more video resources about graphic design. And we're expecting to see you watching again here at SAW.DESIGN PH.